Hey guys, GWS here. Here to answer the burning question, who do I think won the 2020 presidential debate, the first debate? Um, and the answer is, I don't know. And let me just explain a couple things. First, so let me explain some stuff that I don't think had an impact. Number one, Trump's interruptions. I don't think those are going to play a lot of a factor in how this sways the polls, because I think that this was just a very, very bad format for both of them. Um, I didn't like the 2 minutes for uninterrupted responses. I think that's a little bit too much to ask for very, very heated and contentious issues between candidates, especially two candidates who are of the styles of Trump and Biden, who aren't exactly coached and refined in terms of their speaking. I think that it should have been a more open format with fewer topics, but have the topics be more broad. So you could have, for example, you could have race, environment, economy, and then maybe COVID. Maybe throw in Supreme Court or something in there too. Fewer topics, more broad, and more open, less moderated discussion, with moderation only getting involved when just things go completely off of the rails. I don't think the candidates had enough time to really sink their teeth into each other and go at each other, because the moment one was making a point, you just hear Chris Wallace, basically try and talk over the candidate endlessly. You know, it was just a very bad format, and the format hurt what little substance we could have gotten out of this. And secondly, I gotta say, Biden came out sharp. I think his message was simplistic yet effective, and that is a referendum on Donald Trump as president, and trying to debate the con of that position, i.e., Trump should not be president, and how he's going to be president. So a few highlights: Trump went a lot after Joe Biden for his experience, which, as I said in the debate preview, he needed to do and he needed to constantly hit on. I think he had mixed but fair effectiveness. I think Trump did well when it came to bringing up Hunter Biden, which is a subject that probably wasn't going to be brought up given Chris Wallace's line of questioning. You weren't going to hear much about Hunter Biden from him, so Trump actually took the initiative. I think not letting Biden take the floor and run all over with the anti-Trump emotional message, and especially some stuff on COVID, where you have typical emotional hooks that can hook people on various issues. I think that kind of made the issue more divided. And so, who do I think won this debate? Well, this is my perspective, and this reason I say I don't know, because first of all, Trump came out very defensive on a lot of things. I don't think he expected Joe Biden to come out as sharp as he did. I think Joe Biden was underestimated. He is going to be very formidable in the next couple of debates, and Trump has a lot of improvement to do in terms of not looking defensive upon the accusations thrown at him. I think Trump was set up by design to look defensive, and given things that he would find irresistible to respond to. Like I said, it's not so much the interrupting, it's the defensive nature of things. I think that can make him look a little bit like he's defending himself from wrongdoing. And, you know, in a debate, you never really want to look defensive, because it, you know, if anything's going to change somebody's minds, it's going to be somebody who appears defensive, like Trump did. But also, Trump had some very good counterpunches. Trump hit Biden very, very hard on his record of racial injustice, like his 1994 criminal bill. He didn't hit on Trump's more recent gaffes. I think that was a missed opportunity, almost a blunder by Trump, to be honest. But Trump, to me, actually made a lot of blunders where he could have easily won this if he approached in a little bit more of a controlled, thoughtful manner. I don't think he I don't think the lines of attack he needed to take were coming to his mind, mostly because he came out so flat as he did. But he did still hit Biden fairly effectively on the stuff he needed to hit him, like, you know, the 47 years as a politician, and his record on criminal justice. And Biden never really had much of a response. And when Trump was pointing out law and order, it was one of the few times Joe Biden legitimately looked lost. Like, he did not have a proper answer to the law and order question. So, you know, that's kind of how I framed this debate, is Trump appeared very defensive and very offensive at the same time. And while Biden was sharp, like I said, there were things like that law enforcement question where he's a little bit lost. So to me, it's, you know, it's not decisive enough where I can determine a winner outright in terms of the vote. In terms of substance, and in terms of logical argumentation, I don't think there's any of that to be seen here. This is mostly rock'em sock'em robots. Just two people attacking largely each other's character and making emotional arguments. Not a lot of... This is no Kennedy Nixon. This is no Carter Reagan. Or, you know, this wasn't a particularly interesting debate substance-wise, but I don't think any of us expected that. Let's be real. So we are going to have to see. I'm going to look at the polls. I haven't looked at any polls. I haven't listened to any analysis. This is my first impressions post-debate analysis based on what I heard, based on no influence from any external factors. So you get it from the horse's mouth directly. No influence, no party slant, any of that. Like I said, it's very close, but, you know, like I said, I think this was more of a blunder on Trump's part, just because there was so many missed opportunities on his part, so many things that he could have brought to attention. And I think that in terms of Biden doing what he needed to do, granted that Biden's task was a lot simpler and that all he had to pretty much do was give people a coherent message that wasn't scatterbrained, you know, wasn't coming off as low energy. No, Biden was sharp. Biden was punching back. He was he hit Trump fairly hard in places as well. And he kept with his message, and he brought up things he needed to. So, like, in terms of who did what they needed to do, Trump had the high ceiling, but he failed to reach that ceiling. Biden had the very low ceiling, and he reached that ceiling. And it's like both are kind of pretty even at this point. And my prediction is this isn't going to have much of an effect on the polls. I don't see anybody, any independent, changing their mind over what they heard tonight. I don't see any independent making up their mind based on what they heard tonight. I think that the better moments are ahead. I think, as I've said in other videos, a lot of this election isn't going to be determined by debates, but the quality of advertising from both candidates, who presents the most effective message to the key voters in the swing states that need to be gotten. And a lot of the impact of this, if there is one, is to be seen in future days. So my ruling for who won this debate was it's a push. Thanks for listening. God bless.